So hello everyone, thank you again for joining us today, or thank you for joining us for the first time if this is your first session. This is the second session in our 6-part yoga series, Cultivate Balance and Self-Mastery. Before we begin, I just wanted to quickly acknowledge that we stand with those who are seeking equality, and we are here to support you and your mental health. In this series, we will explore bipolar disorder from a unique perspective. Brooke and Violet will connect yoga philosophy and gentle, accessible yoga practices with psychoeducation. Breath awareness, gentle movement, and simple meditation will be repeated and also completely optional. If you did not join us for our first session, please take a moment after this class to watch the recording on our YouTube or our Facebook, where you can hear about Violet and Brooke's personal mental health and yoga journeys and learn more about how you can get involved and started in yoga therapy. Thank you for joining us again and offering our community this wonderful practice.
Thank you.
Oh, and a quick note as well, we do have a check-in sheet that you can use. I'm going to post it in the comments. Brooke or Violet will talk more about it, but please use that before and after this class if you would like.
Okay. So I love the idea how we did it last time. Brooke kind of led us through a little grounding, meditation, kind of center in, and I would love to do that today. So for you can maybe close your eyes and take a moment just to notice your body. Notice your sit bones. Notice what's making contact, whatever surface is below you. That contact surface is what's going to ground you down. Okay, so feel your weight just get a little heavy. Right down into your sit bones, your legs, your feet. So feel your bones get heavy. Notice how you're sitting right now. Just notice your posture. Without changing anything too much, can you just sit up a little taller? Lift the top of your head up just a little higher. And so I invite you here in this moment just to bring your focus, your awareness inside. And so without attaching any meaning to anything, giving any relevance to anything, you just notice how you feel right now. Let whatever comes up, come up, and then just let it drift away. With your awareness inside, can you focus on your breath? No need to change anything. Just notice. Notice the subtle rise and fall as you inhale and as you exhale. Follow that path of your breath. And as you inhale, you can watch that breath go down the back of your throat, filling up your lungs. Your belly will expand. And then as you exhale, watch your belly soften. Air go up through your lungs, out of your throat, into the air. And just follow your breath. Simple awareness starts right now. One more time, feel your sit bones get really heavy. Feel yourself anchored down. And then extend your spine tall, long. Lift the top of your head, the crown of your head up. Relax your shoulders down. Take a nice full breath in. And then through your mouth, just sigh out. And then breathe normal. And open your eyes. Welcome.
Thank you. That was really nice.
Thank you. So I'll share for a moment. Again, I'm Brooke. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you, Violet, for that invitation to sort of join together and recognizing what's happening for us within. I want to thank IBPF again for having us and letting us, giving us the floor here. It's really, really special and generous of you. Thank you. So we're gonna do a little bit of movement today. We're hoping to start at about 20 after, 25 after, but there are some sort of housekeeping things that we wanted to address and some concepts that we wanted to introduce again for not only this session, but for the upcoming sessions. I wanted to reflect just for a moment on having shared my story in the last session. There were a couple of things that I felt like I had left out, and one of them in particular was that I talked about my my first break when I was in college, but what I didn't mention was that in the summer of 2004 I had a second break and was hospitalized briefly. And I told myself that that would never happen again. The next summer, I went to yoga teacher training and stayed at the ashram for about 5 weeks. I started taking medication and I found a therapist who I really resonated with and ended up staying with for almost 15 years, actually. That was a really stable relationship and very formative for my recovery. Since that summer of 2004, I haven't had a break. I haven't been hospitalized. I haven't gone into any sort of psychosis. And my sense is that it's because of all of those things, and especially yoga and having some sort of template for living that I could explore and experience for myself, that has really helped to stabilize me. I also talked about the difference between like a yoga class or a yoga teacher and yoga therapy. And one of the things that differentiates a yoga class from yoga therapy is research. And so what we hope to do is, as yoga therapists, integrate into the medical community to bring therapeutic yoga into clinical environments, and also to build research. And there isn't a lot of research on yoga and bipolar disorder. And so what Violet and I have done is put together a little checklist, something that if you wanted to participate either during our sessions or other sessions of yoga that you choose to practice, you might glance at the checklist to determine how you feel before the practice itself, and then how you feel after the practice. And if you notated how you felt, if anything had changed, that in itself is very valuable, not only for you to know that something has had an effect on your mood or your behavior, your outlook, your physical experience, but also for us in the broader community. So Emily has posted something, I think, on the IBPF website. Is that right, Emily? A PDF? You're muted. Can you unmute?
Yeah, sorry. I just shared the PDF in the chat box here on the Zoom. It'll also be included in the post session webinar email that everyone will receive whether they attended the Zoom or not. It's on our Facebook, and I will also include it on all of our ads that we have for our yoga class and all of our recordings on our website.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for broadcasting that. So before a session, to check in with yourself, and you don't have to check in with all of the questions that are on there. If there are some that are pertinent to you or that seem like they kind of stand out, let yourself mark those before and after. And ideally, before and after all the sessions that you practice, so that we can just see for ourselves how this helps, if it helps at all. Violet, do you have anything else that you want to say about either one of those things before I go on?
I think you've said everything.
Okay, cool. Okay. So let me just glance at my notes here for a second. We wanted to thank everybody for sharing in the comment section and offering your feedback on the chat here on the Zoom. That's not only fun for me to be in collaboration and communication with you, but also lets me know, sort of helps all of us to put our finger on the pulse of what's happening in your mind and your understanding of yoga and where you would like to go and what you'd like to see. So please continue that if you're willing to. We'd love to hear from you. You can also contact us directly. There's some contact information, I think, on the IBPF website and my website, and Violet has an email address that you can reach out to her on. We also wanted to say, and Violet, you might want to speak to this too, that yoga, we don't want to give the impression that yoga is a fix. It is something that can provide answers for you about your own personal experience and how you want to regulate yourself. Yoga is about self-study and awareness and acceptance. And we're here to help to give an introduction and facilitate that. These sessions that we're doing are super brief. And if we were doing some sort of more expanded research, we would have longer sessions, more repetitive sessions. And this is just really a taste of relaxation, movement, breath, how mindfulness works in the realm of yoga. And so just know that we are not doctors, we are not like professional scientists necessarily. And I know that for me, I come in on these calls like doing my best to take the pressure off of myself, recognizing that I have experience professionally and personally, but also you are your own best teacher, and we want you to take responsibility for yourself and for your health and for your safety, for your experience. So if there's anything that ever feels uncomfortable or awkward or inappropriate for you for any reason, please stop, please back off. We want this to be a comfortable and safe experience for you. So I guess the last thing that I wanted to share about is that there's a lot of research on yoga and anxiety, and there's a lot of research on yoga and depression, and also meditation and anxiety, meditation and depression, but there isn't a lot of conversation about mixed moods. And so I wanted to address that because I think that that's something that really characterizes how we approach bipolar disorder from a yogic perspective. Bo Forbes is a PhD in psychology. She works out of Boston. She's a yoga teacher. I think she's a yoga therapist as well. She's offered yoga to the Boston Red Sox, and she's done a lot of work. She's written a book called Yoga for Emotional Balance that I highly recommend. And in her book is one of the few places that I've kind of noticed where mixed moods are addressed. And so I wanted to give just a super brief overview of the concept of that, so that you might be able to apply it to yourself. If you think about your physical state, okay, you can ask yourself if your physical state feels average and comfortable, if you feel restless physically, or if you feel sluggish or depressed physically. Okay, so there's 3 things that you can notice there. Then mentally, same thing. Are you feeling kind of even-keeled? Are you feeling anxious mentally, restless, thinking about the future? Or are you feeling depressed, sluggish, slow mind, thinking of the past? Those things are kind of ways that we can look in the direction of how do we want to manage this? How do we want to bring in sort of the remedy of the opposite? How do we want to calm the restlessness or sort of stimulate the sluggishness? And so when we move into these practices, what Violet and I have talked about is creating an opportunity to move the body a little bit, so that if you are feeling restless, we can catch that restlessness like we're lassoing a wild horse with movement. We want to meet it where it is, and then start to harness it by bringing our attention to our breath, to our movement, to our mind, corral it, right? Start to stabilize it, and then bring us into relaxation. In my mind, relaxation helps everything. It helps to reduce stress, and stress can contribute to anxiety, depression, and mixed mood. So my focus is always relaxation and how to get there. What Violet is going to do is she's going to offer the movement. The movement can help with depression, kind of kick us up a little bit. But all of these things, again, I want to say, like, not overdoing it, being really sweet with yourself and really gentle with yourself. So I'll talk a little bit more about those concepts. We can affect the breath to affect the mind, and we can affect the body to affect the body. So depending on what we do with the physical body, we can affect that sluggishness or restlessness, and what we do with the breath can affect the mind, the mental restlessness or the mental sluggishness. There's a lot more to talk about, but I just wanted to plant that seed so that we can address mixed moods in a way that might be appropriate for those of us who experience them.
Thanks, Brooke. I wanted to add to that, we're not experts, we're not doctors, scientists, anything, but just speak from experience, just really wholehearted experience of how this has really helped transform and have been a complementary tool in all of the other modalities, at least that I'm involved in, to manage the bipolar. So it's really nice, I think, like Brooke said, as a tool. And when I said at the very beginning, like, if there's an invitation to go inward, that's what yoga invites. And no one knows what the inside is like other than you. And for me, I think that I did not know what my inside was like until I got that invitation from yoga to go there. So just quickly, before we get into the practice, my favorite concept to talk about with yoga is actually the whole purpose of the yoga practice. And I'm going to say a Sanskrit thing and explain what it is, but it's yoga chitta vritti nirodha, which means that yoga is the progressive, quieting of the fluctuations of the mind. So in that, it's kind of giving us that, hey, the mind is in constant fluctuation. It's in constant change. It's like those waves crashing in an ocean. And the purpose of yoga is to try to slow that down. And in order to do that, you have to become aware. So when I say I didn't even know what's on the inside, part of it was I really had to cultivate some awareness. So, you know, moods, sensations of the body during the practice as we're feeling sensations, those are going to change. And I love to know that they're also temporary. When you're in a yoga practice and you come against a pose where you're like, oh, this is like a really deep stretch, it's so comfortable, it's temporary, you know? And so it offers this invitation to just be with it, to just witness it. And I think that that being really what the whole purpose of yoga is, offers us such a beautiful thing, is that as you become more aware, you actually have an ability to control a little bit more those fluctuations. So with that, why don't we come into the practice, and we're just going to, throughout the whole thing, be evaluating and adjusting, like Brooke said, be sweet, gentle with yourself, and notice the shifts that take place. And with you really being your best teacher, no one knows what the inside of you is like other than you. And so let that be your guide, you know, that I'm just here directing, and you don't have to follow if it doesn't feel right. So just omit anything, add anything, but otherwise we can get started. So why don't we just kind of ground again, come to center. So why don't you bring your hands together? You can bring them to the center of your chest. We also refer to this as the heart center. So you can bring your hands together at the heart center. Close your eyes. And just take a few slow, deep breaths. Breathing at a rhythm that feels right for you. And even right here, you might just notice, where are you feeling any sort of sensation in your body? Are you feeling anything swirling in your chest? Are you tight in your shoulders, your hips? Shedding some awareness there. With our hands together like this, it's called the Anjali Mudra, and what this can really symbolize is union. So bringing the two together, the ultimate meaning of yoga is union. So just intend that you are balanced on your right side and your left side. Intend that you are balanced from the front of your body, the back of your body. And intend that you are balanced from the top and the bottom. You're just right in the center of your body. Gently blink open your eyes. Right, and as you take a breath in, reach your arms out to the side and lift them up towards the ceiling. Take a moment here with your arms lifted and just drop your shoulders down. Drop them right into their respective place. Maybe connect your palms above your head. And then as you exhale, bring them back together at your heart center. We'll flow a little bit here. Inhale, reach your arms up, maybe connect your palms. And then exhale, hands together, heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, draw your hands together. I love to close my eyes for this. You can do whatever you'd like. Just inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands together at heart center. Now we're going to go the opposite way. Inhale, reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, turn your palms away from one another and just lower them down. Inhale, bring your hands to heart center, reach up. Exhale, palms away from one another. Create this little bubble around yourself. Inhaling, heart through your center, lift up. Exhale, little bubble around yourself. One more like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower your hands away. And then coming right back, heart center. Take a moment, just check in. Okay, relax any tension. Wonderful. And then let's do a little neck stretches. Just kind of get in there, an area that's often tight. So you can just let your hands rest on your thighs anywhere that feels comfortable. And I don't know if in this screen we're going to be mirrored exactly. So my right might be seen as your left. So just listen to the directions. I hope that I can mirror you. But just strap your right ear to your right shoulder. And this is gentle. It can feel, there can be a tendency to want to crank with these neck stretches, and you really just want to be gentle. Gentle opening, relax your shoulders. Notice if you've tensed up anywhere else in the body as you begin to release these muscles. You can turn your gaze, your chin slightly down towards the floor. Send a breath there. And if it's for you, maybe even turning the chin up towards the ceiling, gaze up. A little stretch there. Beautiful. And then just gently drop your chin to the center of your chest, very soft in your neck. Lift your head up. Take a moment, notice. Notice that left side of your neck maybe feels a little different than the right. And then we'll switch sides. Drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Relax your shoulders down. Notice if you're leaning a lot towards the left, can you center your body as you drop your head to the side? There's that invitation to gaze down, drop your chin a little bit down. Breathing into that space that you're creating. And there's that invitation to lift your gaze up, lift your chin up. And then just gently drop the head down. And then lift your gaze up. Great. Getting a little bit more stretch for the shoulders. Take your right hand and you want to try, see if you can connect to your upper back. It might be your neck, it might be your head, it might just be your shoulder. Lots of different options here. We're just looking to get a little bit of stretch, so you can take your left hand to your elbow and gently draw it out to the side. Relax your shoulders down. Just take about 2 breaths here. Right, and being gentle with yourself. Nice, release this. And then we'll switch sides, left hand somewhere towards your back. And then use your right hand to gently guide your shoulder onto your back. Right, soften here. Slow breaths. Beautiful, release this. Bring your arms out wall to wall. And then cross your right arm over your left, right at your elbows. So try this first. Maybe just grab opposite shoulders. This might feel perfect right here. It also might feel good to connect the back of your palms, or maybe even connect your fingers to the inside of your palms. It's whatever feels most right in your body. You're gonna wanna just lift your elbows up and relax your shoulders down. Right? And so for a lot of people, this might feel intense. Right? So just be a witness to it. Listen to your intuition. If anything's too much, soften. Sending some breaths here. You've got your hands together. Maybe even draw your hands away from your face a little bit. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then gently unravel. Let your arms just rest by your sides for a moment. And then we'll switch to the other side. Left arm crosses over your right at your elbows. And then again, either grab for your shoulders, palms can touch, or you can connect them together. Nice. Lift your elbows up, relax your shoulders down. Notice right away, I'm sure one side feels different than the other. That's kind of a fun thing to witness. Send your breath here. And again, if you've got your hands lifted, maybe draw them away from your face. Just shift the stretch a little bit. Beautiful. And then release this. Rest your arms by your sides. Maybe shake your shoulders out a little bit. Reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Again, relax your shoulders down. And then we'll do a little side body stretch. So you can lower your right hand somewhere maybe resting on your leg, your thigh out to the side. Just a gentle stretch over towards the right. Left arm reaches over towards the right. And there's that option to gaze up towards the ceiling. So then we'll just gently switch sides. Lower your left hand down. Right arm reaches up and over towards the left. Right, and there's no need to crank anything here. Super gentle. Release and lower here. And I'm gonna offer, again, a super gentle twist. And this is also optional. It may not be accessible for everyone, so you could just sit tall. And your twist might just be gently turning your shoulders to the side. So if we start towards the right, begin to turn your shoulders to the side. Maybe take your right hand somewhere back behind you or by your side, and then cross your left hand over. That may or may not happen. Either way, we're not looking to crank this twist. It's just gentle, sit tall. Slowly release this, come through center. Take a moment just to notice, and then switch sides. And again, typically one side feels different than the other. So it's just noticing what your body needs. Like Brooke says, be sweet with yourself. Beautiful. Come back through center. Let's bring our hands together, heart center. Once again, close your eyes. See if you can take some fuller breaths. And that's, if it's for you, trying out some deep, invigorating breaths. Just by this little bit of movement, you have shifted energy in your body. Great. So there's a little practice of movement. And now I know what Brooke is talking about, the amazing gem of relaxation is what comes next. So I will pass that to you, Brooke.
Thank you. So now is the time where you might want to find a comfortable place to lie down. We're going to be going into what we call Savasana in northern India, or Shavasana in southern India. So Violet pronounces it differently. I pronounce it Savasana. Sometimes called corpse pose or relaxation pose. I prefer to call it relaxation pose. So you can practice this on your bed. You can practice this on the floor, just as long as you have a comfortable place to be that feels clean, where you can relax. So I'm going to tip my screen a little bit so that you can see the floor behind me. I have some blankets stacked up. I have a towel and I have a washcloth. I'm going to move back away from the computer so that I can demonstrate. Savasana is simply lying on your back. This helps to relax the mind, relax the body. It rejuvenates your body cells. It activates the relaxation response. It helps to slow down metabolism. So especially if you are in some sort of hypomania or anxiety, slowing down the metabolism can be really powerful to help you to self-regulate. For a restorative savasana, I like to suggest that you have something that you can place underneath the back of your neck to support the cervical curve at the back here, and also something that you can place underneath your legs so that you get a bend in the knees when you're lying down. So I have quite a few things here to choose from. I have blankets, I have some pillows back here, and since most people have pillows, what I'm going to do is take these two firm pillows and place them kind of where my lower body is going to be. Then I'm going to take a blanket. If you have a towel, let me take this washcloth here. You could roll this washcloth up a little bit so that it fills the space when you're lying on your back between the neck and the floor. You could take a towel, same thing. You might open it up. You don't have to have a lot of support underneath the back of the neck. The reason that we're doing this is so that we can give the nervous system a sense of being caught once it relaxes with gravity toward the floor, so that the entire nervous system, the entire spine is supported. I'm going to move these blankets away. And I'm going to take this towel, I'm going to find the folded edge of the towel, not the fringy edge, the messy edge, but kind of the neater edge here. Placing this down where my neck will be. Coming down onto my back, very simple. This is, intuitive. Draping my legs over my pillows. If you have something that you want to rest your feet on, like an ottoman, a couch, a chair, a wall, something, a bed, you're welcome to do that too. That's even a little bit more relaxing. I like to suggest that we draw these blankets or pillows, whatever it is, up as close to the sits bones as possible to release any pinching that you might find at the lower back. And then lifting the head and pulling that blanket or towel, the edge of it, to the shoulders, and then rolling the edge of that blanket or that washcloth, whatever it is, just enough to fill the space between the neck and the floor. I like to suggest here that less is more, because as your body relaxes here with gravity, your bones, your muscles, your connective tissue is all going to start to shift toward the ground. And if you have too much support underneath the back of the neck, it's going to feel like there's pressure there, and that will become distracting. We want to eventually be able to kind of release identification with the body as we move toward a deeper relaxation. If you have bulky shoulders for some reason and your chin is lifted up toward the ceiling when you come back, take another blanket or something and place it underneath the back of the head so that it allows the chin to tuck a little bit. Savasana is generally safe for most people. Really the only contraindication that's common is if you're pregnant. And if you're pregnant, you want to lie on your left side and support yourself, support your head, support your legs if you need to. And so you can stay here if you want to in Savasana. And there's another option too that is also very grounding. If lying on your back feels too exposing, You can place blankets on your belly, cover yourself. If you have a weighted blanket, this is a great time to cover yourself using that weighted blanket. You can also cover your eyes if that's comfortable for you. There's some conversation around if you're depressed, you might want to keep your eyes open. If you have anxiety, you might keep them open or closed. Just finding the position for your eyes that feels the most stabilizing. As you gaze, fix your gaze on some still point. It can be on the ceiling, or you can relax your gaze and allow the gaze to be lifted up toward the spiritual eye, the prefrontal cortex. But as the eyes still, the mind will start to still. And so if you have busy mind, notice what your eyes are doing. And allow your eyes to start to still if that feels comfortable for you. What do you do with the arms and the hands? You can do a lot of different things. You can place your hands on your belly if that feels comfortable and connects you to your breath. You can draw your arms out to the sides and bring your palms to face the ceiling. That is generally accepted as the full expression of the pose, but if it's not appropriate for you, for whatever reason, let yourself modify. You can roll your shoulders inward and bring your palms to face down, especially if you have anxiety or feel hypomanic or busy-minded. Bringing your hands, palms down or closed, or placing stones or washcloths or something in the palms to sort of close off that antenna can also be supportive to move you into a relaxed state. Again, lying face upward can be sort of expansive and perhaps somewhat stimulating. So maybe appropriate for if you're experiencing more depression, depressed body, or depressed mind. If you're feeling anxiety or busy mind or restless body, it might be more comfortable and more appropriate to practice a modification of Savasana, which would be what we sometimes call Mokrasana or Crocodile pose, which is lying on your belly. And lying on your belly, you can support your forehead with your hands, or you can bring your arms down and turn to face one side or the other, or both, to get an even stretch in the neck. And you might let yourself switch and determine which one is more appropriate for you right now. And both might be appropriate for you. You might ask yourself which feels more comfortable, more nurturing, more soothing. If you are lying on your belly and you have a fleshy front side, if you're blessed with a chest or a belly, you're welcome to take a blanket or a pillow and place it underneath your chest or your head or on your belly, across the belly, below the breasts, to allow for a more aligned resting pose. Do whatever it is that you feel to do to make yourself comfortable. For these poses, there are no musts. Beyond honoring yourself. If you are lying on your back and the low back is talking to you, you might place more support underneath the backs of your legs so that you create a deeper bend in the knees, which will flatten the lower back a little bit more and can relieve tension that you might find there. You can have as many blankets underneath the legs as you feel to create that sense of groundedness at the low back, actually feeling connected to the floor and supported. And once again, drawing those blankets underneath the legs, up toward the sits bones, as close to the sits bones as possible, can feel a little bit more supportive. Which the nervous system will detect. Inviting the relaxation response to come online. You might bring your awareness to the activity of the mind. In yoga meditation, we are not trying to stop the mind or stop thoughts. Rather, we are simply observing thoughts. And cut yourself a lot of slack here. It can take about 20 minutes for the mind to start to calm. 20 minutes of intentional relaxation before we notice any shifts. So don't give up. Bringing your awareness to the emotional field, if you feel to, being sweet with yourself. We associate the emotional field with the heart center, where the lungs reside, sometimes with the belly. So this here is a great segue to bring our awareness to the breath from the emotional field. And to support the relaxation response, I like to suggest that you bring your awareness in particular to the exhalation. And to the pause that resides at the end of the exhalation. The natural suspension, not holding the breath out. Allowing yourself to notice that phase of the breath. Perhaps releasing the weight of the heart muscle toward the floor as you exhale and pause. Noticing the weight of the heart muscle as you inhale. The rhythm of the heartbeat within the rhythm of the breath. Observe the activity of the mind. Taking just a couple more minutes, if you feel to, if you have depressed mind, sluggish, thinking of the past, you might allow your inhale and your exhale to be of the same length. For example, a 3-count inhale and a 3-count exhale. For those with busy mind, anxious mind, restless mind, or thinking of the future, that even count 1-to-1 ratio breath is a great place to start, to eventually begin to lengthen the exhalation. Maybe a 3-count inhale and a 4-count exhale. Not causing more anxiety by affecting the breath, releasing the technique, and practicing simple breath awareness if you notice any anxiety coming up. To eventually lengthen that exhale for anxious mind, busy mind, up to twice as long as the inhale. So a 3-count inhale, and maybe a 4 or a 5 or a 6-count exhale. When the mind wanders, just observe that it has, and bring your awareness back to the breath. Helping you to improve your attention span, memory, staying here for as long as feels comfortable. When you feel ready to transition, let yourself do so slowly. You're welcome to fall asleep here. No need to stay awake if you can rest and if the body calls for sleep.
Thank you. That was really wonderful.
Thank you.
So I think that's all the time that we have today for this second session. Thank you again, Brooke and Violet, for this wonderful class. This recording, and again our previous recording, will be available on our website and our YouTube channel. And we want to remind you that this is a 6-part offering, and we'll have 4 more unique sessions to come. And so we hope you will all join us again next Wednesday. If you want to get in contact with Brooke and learn more about her offerings, you can find her at our website, brookewestyoga.com. And if you'd like to get in contact with either of them, you can find their contact information on our website underneath our advertisements. Yeah, and if you have any requests or comments throughout the week, please feel free to email me, info@ibpf.org, and we will make sure that we can address it and discuss it in our next session. We thank everybody for attending, and we wish you all a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Namaste.